From the Pepsi Arena in downtown Albany, it's game number 2 of our 2004 HSBC MAAC tournament. The Canisius Golden Griffins to take on the Iona Gales. And we take a look at the tournament brackets brought to you by GHI, healthcare coverage from A to Z. Game 1 is in the books. Loyola gave Ryder all it could handle, but the Bronx hold on to move into the quarterfinals. And you see the rest of the schedule for tonight. Our game coming up here between Canisius and Iona, followed by the nightcap of the tripleheader, the Siena Saints against the Marist Red Foxes. And welcome back, everybody, to Albany. Along with Rob Kennedy, this is Doug Sherman. So glad you could join us for some more March Madness. And when you talk about the history of this MAAC tournament, there's no program that has won over the years like this Iona team.
Well, they've won 6 championships. They come in as one of the hottest teams in the MAAC. Preseason, one of the favorites coming in, they stumbled. Certainly Jeff Rulin's team never got on the same page this whole year, but now all of a sudden chemistry and defense have gotten them on this run.
Okay, for Canisius, let's break it down. What do the Golden Griffins need to do to win this ball game tonight?
Well, the first thing, they've got to handle the basketball and not turn it over. Their first 2 meetings against Iona, they had DeWitt Doss, their point guard, on the floor, and they didn't turn it over. Now Downey and Harris are going to have to step up and take care of the basketball. Then the Golden Griffins are the best three-point shooting team in the league. They've got to make threes. For Iona, they've got to guard like they've been guarding people the last 3 games, and then they want to get out and run. If this is a half-court game, it favors Canisius. If the tempo is up and down, it certainly favors the Gales.
Those keys are brought to you by HSBC, the world's local bank. Now, for Canisius, they have a young man who has not only taken over the point guard duties because of injury, but Kevin Downey is doing it all for this club.
Well, he was a second-team All-MAAC performer here in his sophomore year because you're right, Doug. He has done a little bit of everything. Not just scoring the basketball, but now with the ball in his hands having to run the point guard spot, he's finding people. His assist-to-turnover ratio has been tremendous. On the other side, another guy who has stepped it up as of late is Ricky Soliver. He was banged up and injured all season long in the beginning of the year. Now really starting to come on. Over his last 6 games, he's averaging nearly 15 points per game, keeping people honest with his outside shot.
The Iona game. Iona trying to make it 7 championships in their illustrious history in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. When we come back, the Gales will play their opener against Canisius here on the MAAC Television Network. This game is brought to you in part by the Pepsi-Cola Company. It's the Cola. By HSBC, the world's local bank. The New York Lottery, New York Mega Millions, dream bigger. JetBlue Airways, it's not the only way to fly, but it should be. And by FYE for your entertainment. Game 2 of our opening night tripleheader. Canisius against Iona just moments away. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup brought to you by I Love New York. Show your love for New York State. The Golden Griffins have Darnell Wilson, Toby Foster, Yaku Motenspruhl, Chuck Harris, and Kevin Downey.
We talked about Downey being a terrific three-point shooter. Toby Foster, also a terrific guy from deep the three-point line, one of the strengths of this Golden Griffins team.
Meanwhile, on the flip side, this Iona team that has rattled off 3 straight wins. This is a lineup that you didn't see together for most of the season, but Bruin, Jenkins, McCullough, Bird, and Soliver is working right now.
Absolutely. Those 3 sophomores in the backcourt now starting to get time together, and then Greg Jenkins giving them solid production inside.
For those of you who missed it, here is a recap of our first game where the Loyola Greyhounds came out to an 8-0 lead. Michael Tuck was part of an early contingent of Greyhounds that made people believe perhaps the number 10 seed could pull off the big upset.
Well, absolutely, and Charlie Bell with the career high. Tuck able to step it up, but in the end it was a little bit too much. Jerry Johnson coming down the stretch as Johnson was able to make sure that he was able to assert himself late in the game, hitting a couple big threes and getting other guys like Fugaz involved. But it was his three-point shooting coming down the stretch that was able to seal the deal, survive and advance for the Bronx.
And so Jerry Johnson's 31 points leads Ryder into the second round. They will play against St. Peter's tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the quarterfinal round here at the HSBC 2004 MAAC basketball tournament. 75-67 the final score. Johnson was the difference down the stretch. As the Bronx, as Don Harnum told you, Rob, after the game, we just want to survive and advance. That's what these two coaches are hoping to do here in the second game. Mike McDonald and Jeff Ruland. Our coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports and The Rock. The Rock, the official basketball of the MAAC. The Griffs come in as the 8th seed. The Gales are the 7th seed. But Iona with a decided advantage if you take into account the way they've played in the last week and a half. They won their last 3 regular season games, all by double figures. They beat Ryder, St. Peter's, and Loyola. And as Coach Ruland has told both you and I, it was the defense that got everything working for Iona.
Okay, so finally the light went on, and they were able to step up and start putting pressure on the perimeter.
Jenkins with the turnover on the first possession. And Canisius in its road yellow uniform with the white lettering and blue trim with the basketball against the Gales from Iona.
I expect ball pressure from the Gales, whether it's in full-court situations or in half-court.
Wilson misfires on a pull-up. Here's Sullivan.
Wilson able to get out of the trap, into the lane, just unable to finish. That's where you got to throw it on the glass.
He was put in the preseason coaches poll number 3. Green count the basket on the goaltend. Wilson got it on the way down.
Two of the best front court freshmen in the league, showing you their athleticism. The alley-oop, although Bruin able to stay on the ground to make the catch, but then the terrific athleticism of Wilson, but it was a goaltend.
Hey, you mentioned both made the all-rookie team this year. But Bruin gets the better of the early matchup. 2-0 Iona with the lead.
You see Stevie Bird out in passing lanes. McCullough out guarding the basketball. It's that perimeter defense and pressure on the ball that's been the biggest difference over the last 3 games.
After Norton School barely nipped the iron, Iona with the ball on top 2-zip.
For as much as Deshaun Williams was a terrific scorer as Stevie Burke has become, he certainly was a liability on the defensive end, and at times Iona just didn't guard people early in the season.
Meanwhile, with that three-pointer, Rob, Iona has hit 18 of its last 27 three-pointers, including 12 of 15 against St. Peter's. Moten Spruill with a layup, but imagine that. One team hitting 12 out of 15 in one game. You couldn't get a team to do that in practice with nobody guarding them.
Oh, and shooting drills, you can't shoot 80% from beyond the three-point line. It's amazing that the defense has fed their offense.
Here comes Downey. Number 1 scoring option for the Griffins. He finishes over McCullough for 2.
And he's so smart right there. Another heady play, allowing McCullough to come run by. And then he's got the easy finish. Most guys would have tried to force that situation. Instead, patience out on the break. Here comes the trap into the zone. Canisius will mix things up defensively.
3 sophomore southpaws around the perimeter. Here's one of them. Make it 2 for 2 from downtown for Steve Burke Jr.
He's one of the big reasons why they've been shooting the basketball so well from beyond the three-point line, coming off a 20-point performance last time out against Loyola.
Downey off the crossover, fakes the pass and lays it in.
Oh, nice move there again. He's breaking people down off the dribble, handling the basketball. I think Mike McDonald has found his point guard of the future in Kevin Downey. He thought he was going to be a 2-guard player. He's played great with the basketball in his hand.
Sullivan had it blocked out of bounds. Iona will keep it. Now, talk about some statistics that really catch your eye. Talk about Kevin Downey. The last 8 games since DeWitt Doss went down with a knee injury, he has had 51 assists and only 12 turnovers.
That's brutal. I mean,
that's
better than a
unbelievable.
4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. And certainly DeWitt Doss, when he went out, they had to reinvent themselves. Downey's reinvented himself. He's made himself into a point guard.
There's the trap. Sullivan down to his knees, tries to bounce it off of Foster. Instead, it goes to the Golden Griffins. That inbound pass right to the coffin corner, and it was a turnover waiting to happen. Canisius with the ball, trailing 8-6. Kobe Foster, the all-time three-point king in Canisius college basketball history. Now, swings it to the left corner for 3. Top the basket. Burke got tackled up on the 3, but no call. The three-pointer by Chuck Harris makes it 9-8 Canisius.
Harris, part of that tandem of freshmen from Michigan. Both guys have had very solid freshman years. He and Wilson.
3 for 3.
It's a Iona freshman record
so far for Iona. We've got a quick timeout with the Gales on top by 2. Stretching it out from deep. Their perimeter guys not only defending the basketball, but stretching it out. You mentioned it, Doug, with 3 lefties on the perimeter. Two in the same team, but those 3 lefties really spread it out, and they play so well together. That was a problem all season long for Iona. They never were able to get that team chemistry, but coming down the stretch, those 3 sophomores playing like they did coming down the stretch last year when they won 17 games.
Well, easily this has been the most challenging season of the 5 for Jeff Rulin since being named head coach of his alma mater. 10-17 overall, 7-10 in league play to finish in 7th place after being picked number 3 in the preseason. Tony Foster from way downtown. Give him 4.
That's range right there. He's got good upper body strength and the size to step it out from 25.
12-11, Canisius back on top. McCullough and Soliver with the right side. Here's Soliver. Draws contact. There was no call. The ball goes out of bounds. Iona will keep it with 19 on the shot clock. When we come back, Kevin Downey and the Canisius Gold Griffins believe they can pull off the March Madness miracle. Will they? Here on the MAAC Television Network.
I know most of you just graduated high school last year, or maybe you've been working for a while, seen some things, done some things, but nothing has prepared you for what's going to happen now. We're going to set goals for each of you, way up here, way up here, and then we're going to help you exceed them, believe it. And when finished, you're going to have not just a degree, you'll be a different person, a better person. Welcome to Iona.
Aspire, achieve. Iona. Call Iona College at 1-800-231-IONA.
Ever since joining the MAAC back in 1989, Canisius has been one of the more successful teams in MAAC tournament play, a 55% winning clip, and Kevin Downey trying to add to that legacy here tonight for the Golden Griffins.
And both teams on fire. Canisius hit their last 5 shots. Downey getting things going, calling his own number down into the lane with the pass fake, and then delivering on the kick out. Both teams have been on fire, especially from beyond the 3-point line. How about a combined 5 of 6 from deep between these 2 hot shooting teams?
Well, the Golden Griffins know this floor well. They reached the MAAC semifinals as the number 8 seed 2 years ago here at the Pepsi Arena. And Mr. Downey has been on some kind of roll, averaging 13 per game, and for his efforts, named to the 2nd All-MAAC squad, the All-Star squad. Those All-Star teams were announced on Monday, so he's representing the Golden Griffins well here tonight. Foster clears the rebound for Canisius. Harris being caught by Burt and Soliver. Gets it away to Foster. Wide open look from the right. This time a little bit long for Wilson. Loose ball out of bounds. It'll be Canisius' possession. There's a good look at the big fella, Yaku Moku Spruill. And he is big. Listed at 6'9", I don't know about that, but 295 pounds. Senior from Inkster, Michigan.
I don't know about that either.
Got that right.
Each going the other way, huh?
Soliver got a hand of the Foster pass, but Downey resets. Pass to nobody. Iona gets it back. Canisius with a 1-point lead.
Wilson there, left his feet. You got to stay on the ground. You get yourself into the lane. As soon as you leave your feet, you're committed to throw the basketball, and you turn it over so many times.
Marvin McCullough, sophomore point guard out of All Hallows High School in New York. Here's Anthony Bruin.
Inviting Bruin to take the shot. Instead, Foster dropping inside to try and keep the ball out of Greg.
Shot clock down to 11. See the defensive attention to Burt, who is 3 for 3 from beyond the arc so far tonight. Now the step back 2. Can't get the roll. Bruin tips it in.
Bruin so active on the offensive glass. He has really played well since being inserted into the starting lineup 11 games ago.
Jeff Rulin thinks Anthony Bruin is a sleeping giant. He could be a huge player in the MAAC before it's all said and done. Foster off the up fake. Very strong. Out of bounds. Canisius ball.
You see Steve Burt, because he's knocked down 3 threes, draws the defensive attention. Harris able to hang in there with him. Good solid defensive possession, except you don't finish it off with the rebound. Instead, Bruin with the tip-in.
Justin Marshall and Kirill Waxman have come into the game for the first time for Iona. John Ferris, senior forward, with the ball now, has it for Canisius and promptly turns it over.
And he turns it over because he tries to throw the pass with one hand. Ferris has got to give him scoring tonight. Had an open look, instead tried to force things.
Richard Jones has also come into the game for Canisius.
Ferris had been playing so much better on the offensive end, struggled a bit in the last game in the finale against Niagara as far as scoring goes. But prior to that, he was on the roll.
Tariq Atkins also into the game for Iona, another one of the young perimeter players in Jack Ruling's program.
He's got so many young guys out on the floor.
Sullivan connects.
Right now, again, youth is served. Iona with 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen on the floor. Sullivan, solid screen.
Off the mark, Ferris with the putback that wins off it. He's stuck with it. He got the second tip to fall.
He stayed with it on the offensive boards. He had a big rebounding game against Niagara last time out. Able to get an easy one inside.
16-14 Iona with the lead and with possession. Here's Sullivan. Nice. Even nicer block shot by Downey, denying Marshall, and we got a jump ball.
Sullivan got himself deep into the lane. Perfect bounce pass. Thought he was going to have an easy shot inside, but the defense by Canisius there to wipe it away.
Foster, the two-man game. Foster got the look he wanted. Waxman and Atkins somehow able to save it despite each other.
Iona's got to be careful, doubling the screen, especially when Foster's the guy setting it off that high screen, because he can step out and knock down threes. Instead of pick and roll, it's pick and pop.
Here's Bird, who's had the hot hand. Into the lane. And he gets the roll. Nice English on that layup, and he's into double figures with 11.
Looking like his dad, huh? His father, Steve Bird, a former MAAC tourney MVP back in '84. Junior getting off to a great start here.
Daddy still the all-time leading scorer in Gale's history. And an All-American in his days at New Rochelle. Here's Ferris. The running Waxman, the rebound.
That was not pretty. Not a good shot selection there by Ferris.
You wanted points out of Ferris tonight.
But we want some good shots to get some of those points. We don't need runners in the lane for him.
So he and the Griffs down by 4, 18-14. That takes us to our next officials timeout here in game 2 of the opening round of the MAAC tournament. Iona 18, Canisius 14 on the MAAC Television Network.
What are you looking for in a college? Cutting-edge academic programs, a faculty that's second to none, great recreational opportunities and residence halls? How about a college that will provide you with the education you need to become a leader in your profession and in your community? If that's what you're looking for in a college, you'll find it at Canisius. To learn more about Canisius College, call 1-800-843-1517 or visit us on the web at canisius.edu. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
Back in Albany, Iona with an 18-14 lead over Canisius. Toby Foster's listed at 6'6", 240 pounds for Canisius. Steve Burt, 6 feet, only 185. They met each other moments ago. Let's take a listen to this bone-crushing kick. Steve Burt. He was right back up and at him. He's got 11 of the 18 points for Iona. And the Gales lead Toby Foster's Griffs 18-14.
A good solid screen by Foster, and you're right. Burt went down in a bundle, but then bounced right back up and got back in the play defensively.
Downey and Jones in the backcourt. Just into the game now for Canisius. Also Randy Minto, number 23 with the ball. He feeds the post. Bulls as well, but missed it. Atkins the rebound.
He's able to get a good look inside. You've got to convert there. If not, it allows Iona to get up and run.
Waxman misfired. Jenkins, first time we've called his name here tonight. And the big center for Iona gets on the board.
second-team All-MAAC selection, getting it done with the offensive putback. Needs just 6 points to go over the 1,000-point mark.
Jenkins is an academic senior, but because of a red shirt, he has a year of eligibility remaining, so a good chance we'll see him back in a Gales uniform, putting up more numbers next season as well.
Canisius has pulled down on the offensive end, just 1 out of their last 8 shots.
Downey turns it over. Soliver trying to go 1-on-3. No good. Jones the rebound.
It was a pretty good effort just to get that basketball up on the backboard.
Well, he is crafty.
Yeah.
And was able to get it up there, but not quite high enough.
He's so lanky and wiry in the lane and able to stretch things out. I really missed him early in the season when he was banged up.
That foul on McCullough, the first of the game. We're nearly midway through the first half. As Ferris takes a seat, it's been end-to-end action.
Yeah, it's been a good pace, too. And
yeah.
It's amazing what happens when you're not stopped by whistle after whistle. You get a good flow going.
As we say that, there's a break in the action to wipe up some perspiration or condensation on the floor. This is the home of the Albany River Rats, the American Hockey League franchise of the New Jersey Devils. And they just had a hockey game here night before last. Although the floor seems to be in terrific shape here.
Iona goes zone on baseline out of bounds again with this Canisius team and their ability to shoot it from 3. You got a hard peek.
Little hand slapping going on. Moten Spruill called for the foul. He and Jenkins were playing a little patty cake on the low post. And so just like that, 2 quick fouls. One from Canisius, one for Iona. That one on Moten Spruill.
The incredulous look from Moten Spruill. He picks up so many offensive fouls on post-ups because he just throws his body around.
Iona with a 6-point lead. McCullough breaks the pressure with Soliver.
Spreads out with the 3 ball handlers. Even with Bird on the bench, Atkins able to handle the ball as well on the perimeter.
Here's Atkins trying to get into the scoring column. Can't do it. Soliver goes to his offhand, the right hand, and lays it in.
To get himself inside for the score. He talked about being crafty.
Jones inside to Moten Spruill. He draws a triple team. Nonetheless, the big fella lays it home.
And that's what he's got to do. You've got to be able to convert, not only to put points on the board, but to make sure that Iona can't get out in transition.
The Gales by 6 with the ball. From the wing. Soliver missed it. Watchman, who has had a terrific close to the season, very active in Iona with keep possession.
He's had that terrific close to the season because he's become active. Now all of a sudden playing with a little bit more energy and enthusiasm, as is the entire Gales team.
Mike McDonald's Canisius club down 6. Saw that it bounced off the noggin of that guy. Forehead of Moten Spruill, and so Iona with the ball. Inbound to Jenkins. Couldn't get it to roll. Anthony Gruen lays it in, and a chance for a 3-point play.
Yeah, quick. Gruen gets off the floor there. You're going to be a good rebounder. You've got to be quick off your feet. Beat people to the basketball. You saw the quickness of Gruen. Able to come right off the floor. No need to regather.
Now, Gruen is a natural right-hander, but he does almost everything, as we saw in that putback with left hand. Coach Ruland tells me that he has a plan in place now that every time Gruen in practice shoots what should be a right-handed shot left-handed, 10 push-ups. So he's working on his physique, his psyche, and his right hand. You wonder how that happens, though, when a dominant right-hand player becomes so lefty-dependent. There's Jones with the putback. And it's so important to finish with both hands around the basket, but at times, like you're saying, he goes to his left too many times. Perhaps he wants to fit in on that Iona roster.
That's right, with all those southpaws. Collapsing defense around Jenkins forces a kick out.
McCullough left his feet and was fortunate to get the foul call against the Golden Griffins.
Bail out right there with the whistle.
Ferris will come back in, and Moten Spruill, after having picked up his second foul, heads to the bench. That's just the 13th foul against the Golden Griffins. Atkins tried to force it over Foster and Downey, instead lost it out of bounds.
Was able to sneak behind the zone defense and got himself on the baseline. Just got pinned too far.
Court pressure off the turnover. Foster, a fifth-year senior from the Binghamton area, dribbles to the front court. Ferris from the Syracuse area lays it in.
If teams are going to press you, you got to try and make sure you make them pay at the back end of the pressure, as Canisius did rushing the ball up the floor.
Iona's lead is 4. Here's Steve Burt. Nice pass. Jenkins strong to the basket, and he'll shoot 2. Burt drawing attention and taking advantage of it.
Well, being patient against the zone defense, getting some ball reversal. Steve Burt shows the basketball. You got to come out and guard him. Draws 2 defenders, and by the time Foster is able to get back there, Ferris picks up the foul.
This man Jenkins at the line knows all about winning championships in March. His senior season of high school at Mount Vernon, they went 28-0 and won the state title. That was in 2000. Then his first year at Iona, he led the Gales to a championship as well.
This is the back end of that full court pressure as Ferris is able to go up and finish. Talk about Jenkins and the Mount Vernon High School program, one of the top programs not only in New York State this year, but one of the top programs in the country as well.
And now just 5 shy of 1,000 for his career, as I mentioned earlier. Rob has got 3 here in the early going tonight. Gales by 5, Griffs with the basketball. This is game 2 of our MAAC tournament triple header. Coming up next, the Marist Red Foxes against the Siena Saints. Ferris again strong to the basket. And there's a foul against the Gales.
And credit Downey for creating space off that screen. Iona trying to make sure they handle the high screens by stepping out and doubling the basketball. Downey back, dribbles, creates space to be able to find Ferris. You see Downey right here, step back, under control. Nice pick and roll as Ferris goes strong to the basket.
And he is rewarded at the line. One of the tri-champions for Canisius, there's Jeff Rulin. Ferris, instant offense off the bench. Randy Minto replacing Kevin Downey. Minto's a guy who's seen his role grow here in the latter stages of the season. Ferris now with a half dozen to lead all Canisius scores. It's back to the 3-point game, 25-22. Burt, foul, and he will go to the line. So I kind of jinxed it, Rob. After the first 9.5 minutes with no fouls, all of a sudden, we've had 7 in the last 3 minutes.
It's amazing how that works. It's like saying a guy's a 90% foul shooter and he misses one. Burt continues his aggressive play, attacking the rim. They're playing with a lot more speed, and both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. A terrific pace for the game so far for Iona.
Talk about winning championships on the state level. Steve Burt, his senior year at Rice, 2002, won the state federation title at the Glens Falls Civic Center. And he's trying to add to that resume. Mark McCullough also out of a tremendously successful high school program in New York City.
Year in and year out, Mo Hicks does such a great job with that team. So many of the players here in the MAAC are terrific New York City Catholic League programs.
Jeff Rulin's club with a 4-point lead over the Griffs. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this. This isn't the ACC tournament on the left, it's the MAAC tournament. The Siena Cap on the right, and HSBC is proud to sponsor the HSBC family section here at the MAAC tournament. HSBC salutes the MAAC and tonight's families in attendance.
There we go, that's no fair. Those two guys have been our family section both games. We gotta get some other guys involved.
There's one of the aspiring young hoopsters here in the Capital District. HSBC, the world's local venue. You're right, equal time is very important. Harris with a lob. And the finish.
There's that freshman combo for Michigan. As Wilson able to go get it. Nice feed by Harris, certainly knowing that Wilson was going to be there to go get it.
The Golden Griffins, 10 out of 20 from the floor. Down by 2. Here's Burt, who's had the hot hand from the perimeter. This final, Bruin with the offensive rebound. Sullivan, wide open. Wilson and Ferris fought each other. Jenkins was the right man in the right spot for the easy two.
A good hustle by Canisius. Just bad luck as two guys going after the basketball at the same time.
Another big hit on the kick. Steve Burt once again the guy having been wiped up off the deck.
And the difference between the solid solid screen by Foster. You see the arms up by Wilson on that screen. Good call by Ed Corbett right on top.
Absolutely, and give credit to Steve Burt for not getting too carried away with really being bounced around like a pinball. But when you hit your first 3 threes and you draw the attention of the other team, that's going to happen. But a very good call to make sure that was a personal foul. So Iona gets the ball back, leading 28-24. Canisius in its 2-3 zone. Downey on the backside of it, a small lineup. Even though Foster is taller and bigger, he stays on the perimeter. Atkins. Downey with the rebound. Chuck Harris hands it off to Foster. Dangerous pass taken away by Sullivan. Ron Wyatt with the turnover just off the bench. Jenkins around the rim, hit the backboard, right through the hole. It's back to a 6-point lead.
Well, Jenkins got a slow start, but once he got himself in the scoring column with an offensive putback, he's been able to step up here as of late.
That's 7 points for Jenkins. The only one of the original tie-captains still on this Iona team. Foster stepping back. Burt for the weak side rebound. Reference the roster changes. Deshaun Williams, Steve Smith, and Greg Jenkins were the tie captains at the start of the season, but Deshaun Williams, as you mentioned, taken out of the program, and Steve Smith out for academics, and so Jenkins is the only one still remaining.
Here's where Wyatt's got to score this. Instead of challenging Atkins, tries to kick it out and forces a turnover. There is such a thing as overpassing. You saw it on that possession.
Downey, like we saw last weekend at Niagara, able to finish in the half court.
Yeah, he's crafty when he gets himself into the lane. He's got good size and not afraid to go challenge against the post guy.
Iona with the ball, leading by 4. Sullivan, Bruin, Atkins, Burt, and Jenkins on the floor for the Gales.
Battling inside, Jenkins working for position, but White hanging in there.
Here's Jenkins with the quick turnaround. Nice job boxing out underneath for the rebound by Darnell Wilson.
It was clear they wanted to try to get a touch inside for Jenkins on that possession.
Foster makes it a 1-point game.
And again, where are both his threes? About 23, 24 feet. He's got the range to be able to step out and really stretch the D.
And, you know, he had a relatively slow start to the season coming off the injury, but he has really shot the basketball well the last couple of months. And you see the unending range. Harris blocks the shot out of bounds. Again, Steve Burt getting banged around inside.
He's been on the ground, bouncing up. The burst of speed to get by the first defender. Quick first step for Burt. You see Foster just stepping behind on the handoff. You see so many teams now incorporating the handoff into their offense. Made famous initially by Princeton with those handoff and screen for 3.
And we may be in downtown Albany, but you've got to defend Foster from Schenectady, Detroit.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, he is open anytime he's within 30 feet and feeling good about it. Foul on Minto, his first, and the 7th against Canisius, so they're over the limit. In, and Jenkins, who's had a good run, sits down with 7 points. Tariq Atkins, a 6'3" freshman out of St. Raymond's.
Became eligible in the 2nd semester and is getting good minutes.
Gets his own miss. And Iona resets, leading by a point. These are two of the more successful programs in MAAC tournament history. Iona more so for winning it all, but Canisius has got the 3rd best winning percentage all time in MAAC tournament history. There's Carol Waxman with a putback and a chance for a 3-point play.
And again, just simply outworking people on the offensive glass, something he wasn't doing in the beginning of the year. Now he's playing with some more energy and enthusiasm, and when you play hard, good things happen to you. Able to fight for position on the miss by Atkins inside. Just able to get the inside position and pin Wyatt on his back.
Waxman with the 3-point play, and Iona's lead is back to 4 in full court pressure. Foster able to get it in down. think Toby for a second forgot he could run the baseline.
That's
tiptoe
right.
in there.
Exactly. He thought he was stuck on the spot, but off made shots, you're able to run the baseline.
Minto hands off for Downey. Waxman does a nice job defensively. Minto off.
Bad shot, rush shot because of the defense by Burke. Gotta get better shot selection.
Pass at the knee of Bruin, who recovers. Under 4 minutes to go first half in game 2 of the 2004 HSBC MAAC basketball tournament. Ryder won the opener, holding off Loyola. And we've got a foul off the ball. Grip from the Gales, which brings us to our timeout. We'll step away from the Pepsi Arena with Iona leading Canisius 33-29. The Golden Griffins looking for the upset, and they are looking to their sophomore from Livonia, New York, Kevin Downey, strong on the drive. You're watching MAAC Television Network.
This game is brought to you in part by Broadway Marketing Mind-Bending Solutions. I Love New York, show your love for New York State. And by GHI, healthcare coverage from A to Z.
The Iona Gales have been working the offensive glass as part of their 4-point lead, but another part of it has been the rugged play. Steve Burt Jr., in spite of being roughed up, he's got 12 points to lead all scorers.
Oh, he's been able to take contact and bounce himself off the floor. This was a good, solid screen by Foster, but he bounced up, able to get himself deep into the lane. Get knocked down on both sides of the floor, offensively and defensively. But it was his early three-point shooting that got out to the lead. They've been able to basically keep Canisius at just enough distance away. Jeff Rulin's team right now with the 4-point lead.
And as mentioned, Rob, Burt has 12 points. He's hit 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. And the Gales, between Anthony Bruin and Greg Jenkins and company, have been dominating the offensive glass. They're getting second chance opportunities left and right. Ferris will shoot 2. The offensive rebounds, like you saw, 13 for Iona and 5 for Canisius. That's a big part of the repertoire for Jeff Rulin back in the day.
And those are hustle stats, you know, plays that Jeff Rulin made as a player, just fighting for position off the offensive glass.
Well, this season, Aeropostale designated an article of clothing for every free throw made in men's regular season conference play this season. 2,742 articles being donated to needy communities across the Northeast by Aeropostale and the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Thank you, Aeropostale. Ferris will take a seat. Jones also goes out. Wilson and Wyatt come back in for the Golden Griffins from Buffalo, New York. Lead is back down to 2. Burt goes up, thinks to get Foster on the way, and he hits from 17.
Well, you're playing zone defense, trying to match up. No better way to get zone out of whack by showing the basketball, whether it's a pass fake or a shot fake, as Burt showed you on that play.
Daddy went on to have a terrific career in the NBA. His son knows how to shoot the basketball as well.
Oh, tough finish, huh?
Talk about working the offensive glass. Darnell Wilson.
Oh, Wilson showing you good bounce.
Freshman from Wayne, Michigan.
He has been a big bright spot. A couple of their young guys with very good freshman years. He and Harris had a very good first season.
McCullum missed it. Wilson picks it up. And Wilson worked his way out of the 2004 MAAC all-rookie team this year. He averaged just under 7 points and 4 rebounds per game.
That, you've got Downey as a sophomore getting to the second team. You have DeWitt Doss back next year as he comes back from knee surgery.
Well, you hope for the best for DeWitt. That's consecutive seasons with devastating injuries.
Certainly Mike McDonald's had to deal with a ton of injuries over the last couple of years.
Shot clock down. Harris picks it up off the glass and in. And we're tied at 35 apiece.
Tough finish right there for Harris. You gotta love his size at 6'3". Able to play the point guard position, but he has the size to finish once he gets in the lane.
Well, as expected, a competitive game. The 7th seed against the 8th seed. Jenkins back into the game with the putback. And that's 1,000 career points for the young man out of Mount Vernon.
Appropriately, it's off an offensive rebound and putback for Jenkins. Jeff Ruland's team right now making hay on the offensive boards.
Back on top, 37-35. Jenkins now with 9 points. One thing I find interesting about this Iona roster, with the defections of both Deshaun Williams and Steve Smith, now all 11 men on the Iona team are from the state of New York.
And also coming back next year, Jeff Ruland will have his entire group back. You know, certainly they've made a run here at the end of the regular season. He wants to see if they can continue that run in the postseason.
Oh, Rob, the New York Lottery MAAC Scholar Athlete this year is Toby Foster. There he is from Canisius. This year, the New York Lottery is providing new computers to elementary schools on behalf of the men's and women's Scholar Athletes of the Year. Winners were selected based on GPA, community participation, and good sportsmanship. The New York Lottery, supporting education since 1967, salutes Toby Foster for his achievements.
One of 2 guys on the Canisius roster taking graduate courses this year. He and Ferris both out a year with the medical red shirt, taking advantage of their 5th year.
Soliver taking advantage of the fact that Downey didn't see the pressure coming on the post, and he turns it into 2 at the other end.
And one of the few turnovers for Downey, 2 already here in this game.
That's 7 points for Soliver. 39-35. The lead is back to 4, and we've got a foul on Steve Burt. And I think he's actually got a pretty good complaint.
That was a bailout. Didn't look like there was a whole lot of contact. Downey on the turn right there. Quick hands by Soliver to get out in transition, and then able to make sure that he lets Ferris run by as he finishes with the left.
There's Tariq Atkins into the game. Just over a minute to go first half. Game 2 of our triple header at the MAAC tournament.
Oh,
Bruin comes over and commits the foul after Ferris just shed Jenkins.
Well, the ball fake got Jenkins well off the ground, but the quickness of Bruin to not only rotate over, but challenge strong. Watch this pump fake. Bang, there goes Jenkins. And here comes Bruin. One of the reasons why it's tough to get things done inside against the active defense of the Gales.
And no doubt, Iona's got 2 of the best shot blockers in the conference. Jenkins #1, and Bruin is in the top 10 in spite of having relatively limited minutes.
Coming into the game, Mike McDonald said it would be important for us to get scoring from John Ferris. He's been able to do that because Ferris a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. If you're a big guy, go get yourself to the line.
And there he gets a well-deserved rest with 10 points. Jenkins and the Gales lead at 39-32, under a minute to go here in the first half. Marshall checked back in for Iona. Tough pass to Jenkins. And Wyatt's going to be called for the reaching.
Yeah, you can't reach around with post defense. You got to move your feet. Instead, Wyatt got pinned from behind. Picks up the foul.
The Mike McDonald Canisius roster has almost as much New York flair as does Iona. Doss, Downey, Foster, Ferris, Wyatt, Minto, and Spitler. So here in the capital of New York State, we've got plenty of New Yorkers on the floor here tonight. Ferris rebounds to Jenkins' miss.
Been a well-played first half. Both teams got out to the hot shooting start. It's been a good flow.
Downey off the dribble.
Oh, wow. So behind the high screen. Tough shot off the bounce with a deep 3 as Canisius takes the lead.
Absolutely, 40-39. And the fans here at the Pepsi Arena will see Canisius as the underdog and will further jump on this bandwagon. Keep in mind, with the Siena Marist game coming up, the stands will fill as the second half wears on, and guaranteed they will root against Iona. With the shot clock and game clock running down, Marshall rejected. 2 seconds to go in the half. Harris from midcourt. That's about the only thing that didn't go well for the Golden Griffins. Mike McDonald's clubbed into the locker room with a 1-point lead. Jeff Ruland's Iona Gales down 40-39.
Good pace to that first half. Both teams getting after it at both ends of the floor. A well-played first half.
Jeff Ruland's Gales led for most of the first half. Regardless, he finds himself heading to the locker room slowly, down by 1, and the catalyst has been Kevin Downey. Canisius Canisius 40, Iona 39. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this.
College basketball season is at its peak, and you can be a part of tournament action. The HSBC MAAC Tournament returns to Pepsi Arena March 4th through the 8th, when 10 men's and 10 women's teams battle for 2 spots in the NCAA tournament. Tickets are on sale now. Bring the family and take advantage of our family 4-pack deals. Tickets are available at Pepsi Arena box office, through Ticketmaster, or online at PepsiArena.com. The 2004 HSBC MAAC Tournament. Get your tickets today.
Who are you?
What are your team colors?
Who can make you cheer?
Who can bring your family and friends together?
And play your fight song?
Who can bring you to your feet?
Or bring you to your knees?
When the game is on the line, who do you want to take the last shot?
And who do you want to slap high fives, jump up and down, and yell at the top of your lungs with?
There's probably a game near you today. NCAA basketball. Who's your team?
This game is brought to you in part by Coach USA and Grayline, the best way to see New York City. By I Love New York, show your love for New York State. And by GHI, healthcare coverage from A to Z.
Soliver, McCullough, Jenkins, Bruin, and Bird on the floor as we start the second half here at Pepsi Arena in Albany. The Gales trailing Canisius by a point. Steve Bird tries to continue his hot hand. Anthony Bruin with the rebound, had it blocked, and Foster comes away with it. Canisius has Moten Spruill, Foster, Downey, Wilson, and Harris. And another turnover, back to the Gales.
Quick hands by Soliver to get in and poke it out of the post.
Bruin blocked from behind again. Second time the freshman from Colony has gone up here in the first 35 seconds and found the Golden Griffins' hand in the way.
Good defensive pressure inside once the ball got there, but they've not been able to keep Bruin off the offensive boards. Able to sneak inside of the double team.
Jenkins off the inside. Moten Spruill and Foster. Able to get it. Foster was the one who pulled it away. Canisius with a 1-point lead in the basketball. Individually, Steve Burt leads all scorers with 14. 9 for Greg Jenkins, 7 for Ricky Soliver, 6 for Anthony Bruin. Soliver knocks it out of bounds. Canisius behind it for the Griffs. John Ferris has 10, Kevin Downey 9, and 6 for Toby Foster. Very balanced attack for the Griffs. 20 points in the paint, 20 outside the paint. They've gotten good balance all the way around. They both the guys, but ask for much more. Clean on both sides, too. Not a lot of turnovers. Shot pretty well.
The only thing they haven't been able to do is keep the Gales off the offensive board.
The possession error. They'll keep it down at this end. Shot clock at 9. And so when Kevin Downey inbounds it, the Griffs will have to move right along.
Downey off the screen. Once again, Moten Spruill comes up empty. Good look, he just missed the easy one.
McCullough, who wisely pulls it back out. Hand check. Downey is called for his first, and it's the first here in the second half.
So far, neither team really to get things going. You've got to be able to convert when you get inside. Moten Spruill off the nice feed from Downey. Just can't make the easy shot inside.
Like Bruin might have gotten a piece of it from behind. Meanwhile, in tight, the Gales miss a shot and turn it over.
Yeah, and once again, overpassing. Soliver had an easy look, instead trying to find a teammate. You've got the basketball 4 or 5 feet from the goal. 5 or 24 feet from the back. Stretching out from the perimeter as well.
Harris, though, able to corral the rebound. Back to Downey for the run.
And again, he's so smart. Overplayed on the perimeter. Cuts back door. That's a tough catch and finish with the float.
So starting to see here in the second half for Iona. And credit to Canisius defense for that.
They're mixing things up, giving them different looks out of the matchup zone. Here's his backdoor cut. He's overplayed on the perimeter by Soliver. Goes backdoor, and again, that's a tough catch and finished with the floater.
Soliver off the inbound. That's a set play. He missed it. McCullough able to get the rebound. He's off the mark. That's 0 for 7.
Again, there are too many offensive boards and extra opportunities for the game.
Dangerous pass, and Soliver able to get in there, take it away.
He's got such quick hands.
McCullough left wide open. He can't get the roll. 0 for 8 now for Iona here in the second half.
He's had 2 wide open looks. Can't convert.
Ferris pulls the trigger. Well short. After a pretty well played first half, we've got an ugly start to the second half. Just 2 points have been scored in the first 2:45.
Ugly shooting for Iona. 0 for 8 from the field. And that was a bad shot on the other end by Ferris. Settle down. Get into the flow. Both teams were so crisp in the first half, sluggish here in the second.
Soliver has it rim out. Here comes it. No numbers, but he hits it up anyhow. That was a 2. Burt the rebound.
Ooh, we're playing with a 10-second shot clock here. Both teams coming down and firing as if they're making shots.
At the rate we're going here, Rob, we're going to have to repaint the tops of the rims for the third game of the triple header.
Settle down and get something with your offense. Both teams rushing the ball up the floor, taking quick, ill-advised shots. I do not think that man's happy.
Although sometimes it's hard to tell.
Oh,
but I think I agree. I think I agree. Timeout called by Jeff Rulin and the Gales. They have been held scoreless for the first 3 minutes and 13 seconds here in the second half.
And stretch it out to the last minute and 11 of the first half. They have not scored it.
Canisius with a record of 10 and 19 coming into tournament play. Let's take a listen to Coach Rulin.
I can't.
And Tariq Atkins probably wisely steps in there because he knows what's coming from Coach Rulin.
Good defensive possession. Unhappy right there that his team has not come out with the same type of energy that they came out to start the game.
And it looked like he was focusing on Anthony Bruin, and he told me at shoot-around today that's one of the things he and the assistant coaches at Iona have been trying to get out of Anthony Bruin, to come with it every day and for every moment you're on the floor. All right, this gives us an opportunity for our Broadway Marketing mind-bending trivia question. Who is the MAAC's all-time winningest team? Any guess?
They're playing.
Yes, they are.
Now you've got it down to a 50-50 chance. How about that?
And since the team that's in white here in this game has been in the league since the get-go, and the team in gold has only been around since 1989, what do you think?
No, I think we've pretty much narrowed it down.
Broadway Marketing, mind-bending branded solutions. We'll have that answer for you officially in just a few minutes.
Well, both teams got off to the great shooting start in the first half. How about a combined 1 for 15 here in the second half? A lot of bad shots not coming within the context of the offense.
Downey, strong move to the basket.
On the timeout, once again, Downey with the runner in the lane. You know, so many guards are only comfortable on the perimeter. He's very comfortable getting himself into the lane, crafty with the finish.
Soliver steps out, fires it up, and nothing but net. That breaks the seal as Iona's on the board here in the second half, back within 2 points.
And that's with the bigger Foster coming out to close out and challenge the shot.
Here's Ferris. Foster from 22. Strong. Jenkins grabs the rebound. That's a 2, and he hits.
Get another quick shot. This time, no one goes in. Neither team really getting much going out of their half-court offense.
Wilson traveled with the basketball. And it takes us to our next official's timeout and take a break. With a tie ball game, 44 apiece. Kevin Downey and the Golden Griffins trying to pull up what would be a mild upset. But Ricky Soliver and the gang say, we won 7 MAAC titles. We want to make it another here this year on MAAC Television Network. That's a little closer than anybody needs to be to a Golden Griffin. But Canisius is tied with Iona here, 44 apiece. Let's revisit our Broadway marketing mind-bending trivia question. Rob, who's the MAAC's all-time winningest team? The answer is
the team in white.
Iona Gales, yes, wearing their white uniforms here. And I said going to the break they've won 7 postseason tournament titles. I should say they are trying to win their 7th. They won in 1982, 1984, 1985, 1998, 2000, and 2001. Bill Waxman, the feed from McCullough, and a chance for a three-point play. The Gales back on top.
McCullough making things happen by getting himself into the lane. McCullough, true point guard, always with his head up, trying to find other people. Strong enough with the basketball to be able to deliver on the dime.
Waxman, a 6'7" sophomore out of All Hallows High School. 46-44 Iona. Jones on the crossover into the paint. Out of control, Soliver gets the rebound. Trying to find Waxman, but it went out of bounds.
And no spacing there. If you're going to leave it for the big guy, you got to put it on the floor. You see Jeff Rowland say jump stop right there. You can't just come running through the lane. You've got to be under control. 2 feet on the floor, and you'll make better decisions with the basketball.
Both these teams won only 10 times in the regular season. They're trying to salvage subpar regular seasons with a terrific finish here in the postseason. Harris ran into Jenkins a couple of times and decided to give it to Foster. That's a nice move along the baseline.
And with Foster's size and ability to knock down threes, it's surprising he doesn't get himself into the lane more often. Ball fake, you've got to respect it. He can get by people and finish with his size.
And the 3-year captain now has 8 points for Canisius. We're tied at 46 apiece. Thought about it. Jones stepped out to deny. Now Soliver. We're just enough space to hit.
And pick your poison. If you're doubling inside on Jenkins, that's going to free up Soliver. That's why, if you can, you like to see the double from post to post. Don't give guys like Soliver, a 50% shooter on the season from beyond the 3, an open look.
Jones. Down, quick release. A little bit short. The tip goes in. Beautiful cut from the weak side is Jones for 2.
Jones able to get up and get one of the few offensive rebounds so far for Canisius. It's been Iona that's been dominant on the offensive board.
After missing the first 10, you see the Gales have picked it up. It away, County picks it up.
How many hands has he gotten himself with? A little pokeaways on the basketball.
County came down to strip it away. But a summertime picnic with the Bugs coming after him. Just one after another. It seems like between the two of them, they might have had 6 hands in there. Oliver and McCullough can be tough on the perimeter. Lob to Jenkins, denied by Foster.
Good read by Foster to give weak side help.
Harris kicks it to the wing. Foster defends it. That's a 2-point shot. Harris has it knocked out of bounds. No, Soliver saves. Ian Jenkins bounded toward the end line, but Soliver with his quickness able to keep it from going out of bounds. So Iona back with it. And an offensive foul. Carol Waxman, who was accepting that pass, is called for the offensive foul.
Trying to clear space inside. Jeff Rowland trying to figure out what happened on that play. Looked like they were going to have numbers in transition. Instead, the offensive foul sends it the other way with the turnover.
Waxman out, as you see. Harris also took a seat for Canisius. Blocking foul. Burt trying to draw the call, but he didn't quite have his feet set.
This time we've seen him on the floor this half after getting banged around like a pinball in the first half.
Well, maybe that's the key. He had 14 points before getting knocked around. He had 14 at the half. He still only got 14. Still scoreless since the intermission. Here's Moten Spruill.
Another block for Iona. We talked about the two-headed monster inside for the Gales, Bruin And Jenkins challenging shots inside.
If Jenkins doesn't get you, Bruin will. That's his second block shot. And how about this? Get that out of here.
Yeah, and the weak side help. You've got Jenkins with good solid position inside on the ball, and here comes Bruin. Quick of foot to come over and close with the double team.
And you talked about his ability to elevate so quickly. We saw that right there.
His athleticism covers ground very quick in the post. Now, so many shot blockers aren't big plotters. They're guys that can react to the basketball as quick as Bruin does.
His daddy, Tony Bruin, was one of the all-time high runs in Big East history in Syracuse.
The inbound. Minto going right at the big guy, put him in jail, and to bring the basketball back to finish.
Oh, Cullen. Acrobatic shot. Here comes Ferris to Minto. Terrific shot finished by Minto, and he's got a chance to three.
Now, Minto, a guy who basically saw little to no time at the beginning of the year when DeWitt Doss went out with the ACL injury. He's gotten more minutes and delivers. Terrific finish inside, just as he did the last time. Not afraid to go challenge the big guys. Last time in the half court, this time in the full court. Able to finish with his left.
He's only 5'11", 150 pounds. He goes
people
to
are excited there.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd think we'd have packed house here. But some of the folks making the trip in from Buffalo to watch their Golden Griffins. Down he goes out. Harris comes back in to see Minto from northern New Jersey.
I got to shoot him.
Actually, I think he's from Brooklyn.
Yep, played his high school basketball at FDR.
It's a 4-point Canisius lead. Just only 12 minutes to go in regulation.
Time on the double. It is post to post, but doesn't matter as Jenkins is still able to get the finish against two defenders.
Jenkins, who passed 1,000 career points in the first half, now has 11 for that. Tough pass by Minto. Knocked away by that guard tandem. This time it was Burke who came up with it.
Yeah, but Martin Spruill's got to keep the defense off. He's too big to allow guys to come around.
Oliver with a nifty look, and Bruin is fouled. Colton Spruill is whistled for his third personal foul and the third against Canisius in the second half. So Mike McDonald has a decision to make. Do I keep Moten Spruill out, or do I bring him to the bench with 11 and a half minutes to go?
He's not giving him a whole lot, so it makes it a little bit of an easier decision. Certainly Moten Spruill last possession didn't post up strong. See right here, certainly it's a turnover, but look at Moten Spruill. He's standing straight up.
Yeah,
Get down, big guy. Use that body.
Absolutely. Bruin can't get the roll. He missed them both from the line. Iona is only 3 out of 10 from the foul line, making 3 out of 11 now. And so really doing themselves a disservice. And then he's called for the foul on the over the back, and that's number 4 for 44.
No more decision now. At least though he's being aggressive, getting after it.
He's going to have to be aggressive on the bench for at least the next couple of minutes. 53-51, timeout on the floor with 11:16 to go in regulation. The Golden Griffins trying to beat the Gales and reach the quarterfinals. You're watching the MAAC Television Network. Ryder and Loyola went right down to the wire in the opener of our opening day tripleheader here at the MAAC tournament. Canisius and Iona showing indications that they are going to use all 40 minutes to decide this one as well. And coming up after this, it'll be Marist against Siena. This upcoming telecast check is brought to you by JetBlue Airways. It's not the only way to fly, but it should be. The Red Foxes against the Saints. Tip-off scheduled for an hour from now, 9:30. Local listeners.
The last time it was in this building was the last time Siena was able to hang a banner back in 2002 when they became the first team in MAAC history to win 4 games to capture the title.
Burke still scoreless in the second half after putting up 14 before the break.
You notice Canisius now starting to do a better job on the defensive board. Don't lose him in transition. Downey, the top 3-point shooter in the MAAC at 47%, 46%.
Talk about Ricky Soliver right here at 50%. He didn't shoot enough because of injuries to qualify for the league lead, but you're seeing two of the best, no doubt about it, here tonight. Rebounding foul as Soliver and Harris collided.
Long shots get long rebounds. Nobody steps up and guards Downey. Hey guys, look, this guy can shoot it from beyond the three-point line. A blown defensive assignment there. You saw Burt looking around to say, hey, whose man was that? Looked like it might have been his.
Canisius by 5, and there's Wilson. Sounded like a volleyball spike. As McCullough just threw it right into the two hands. No deception there. Burt leans in. He continues to struggle here in the second half. Wilson gets the rebound. Not 2 years ago.
Somebody's guarding.
Downey missed that time.
Once again, you would have figured it out. Last week, they would have figured out who was supposed to guard.
Great help by Ferris to knock the ball away, and Canisius winds up with possession. Clearly, Steve Burt had no idea that Ferris was hustling up the floor, and John did a nice job to stick with the play.
A look away, but the reach in by Ferris to poke it away.
He looked away one defender, but when Ferris is behind you, tough to look him away.
Finally, somebody's guarding Downey. Good sight for the Gales.
McCullough giving chase. Here's that matchup. Pick and roll didn't work. Bruin picks off the pass.
And you got to remember that with Foster, he's always looking to step to the three-point line on pick and pop.
Nice post denial by Ferris. Iona will keep the ball on the baseline.
Up.
Canisius 56, Iona 51. Foul on the inbounds. Along with Rob Kennedy, this is Doug Sherman at the Pepsi Arena in Albany for day one of the HSBC MAAC tournament. Canisius against Iona following Riders' victory. The Bronx have moved into tomorrow's action where they'll take on St. Peter's. So glad you could join us. And the men will play right through Monday night. Jeff Rulin's club hoping to hunt down the nets again here at the Pepsi. They've done it twice before here at this arena. Trying to do it again. Meanwhile, the struggles at the foul line continue for Anthony Bruin and the Gales. He is 0 for 4 here in the second half, and now 0 for 5 for the game. Harris sitting on Jenkins.
Ferris led the big offensive burst in the first half. Now coming back here in the second half, getting things going. Talk about how important his scoring would be. The MAAC 6th man of the year, once again, giving good production off the bench. Ball reversal, stepping up, putting the ball to the floor, gets by the first defender, able to take the bump, presumably finish off the three-point play.
He does, and he's got a Baker's dozen. Waxman will come back in, and Bruin will take a seat.
And on one end, you see Iona knocking away foul shot after foul shot. Canisius stepping to the line and taking advantage from the line, something they have not done very well all season. Canisius just 63% on the year from the line.
And the Golden Griffins with a good foul shooting have gone on a 13-2 run to open up their biggest lead. Soliver tries to answer back, kick it out to Burt. A little more time for that one, had a good look, but continues to struggle. McCullough for 3. And the hot shooting that marked the final 3 games of the regular season for Iona in the first half of this game has completely gone away.
So now they've got to go back to their second thing that has helped them out, the offensive rebound.
Canisius using its bench to a great advantage, 14-point advantage there, and Ferris has 13 of the 19 for Canisius. Let's see if Waxman can break the spell at the line. He can. He's only a 60% foul shooter himself, but he buries that first one. Jeff Rulin, class of 1991 at Iona. That sounds strange to you? Because he went back and got his degree.
After leaving early after his junior year for a long and distinguished career, an all-star career in the NBA.
That time Steve Burt was able to get the call.
A little bit of acting, huh? Steve Burt has been thrown to the ground a couple of times. Evaded the official into the offensive foul by Harris. Not a whole lot of contact. Although Harris with the arm out. You see Burt excited, not making threes, but you can step up and help your team in other ways.
Sean Penn's got nothing on Steve Burt. Iona down 7, under 9 minutes to go in regulation. Watson gives it to Sullivan. Back to Watson. Terrific. Two-man game down the bench for the easy two.
And especially from Watson, keeping an eye on the basketball. A lot of times you figure Sullivan's going to take that shot. You just turn and look at the board. Instead, he kept his eye on the ball.
Watsman's got 8. It's back to a 5-point game. There's Downey with McCullough right on. Spins to the baseline. The mid-range jumper is off the mark by Wilson. Here comes Ricky Sullivan. Dominican dandy. He is a dandy finish to the season. You can see he's got the right pinky finger taped up, the left wrist taped up. It's been a long season for this lithe sophomore. Here's the tip by Watson. The activity by Watson is why he's on the floor. That's 10 points for Kura Watson.
Yeah, getting after it on the offensive glass. Iona went away from it. Last couple possessions, it's been Watson who's given them the offensive board.
It's back down to a 3-point ball game.
And once again, Ricky Sullivan with another near steal.
Wilson with a nice feed to Wyatt, who earns a trip to the line. That's the 7th team foul against Iona.
You see one of the struggles for Mike McDonald's team all year long, getting consistent, productive scoring inside. Nice dump off to Wyatt. Even though he gets fouled, you got to make that. Not enough contact to bother your shot. Canisius has been a donut of a team offensively at times this year. Plenty on the perimeter, just nobody inside that can give you that consistent score.
Steve Burt was his 4th, and so he will be forced to the bench. And again, he had all 14 of his points in the first half, and he has not been able to get anything to fall here in the second half. Let's go look at Ron Wyatt, 6'8" sophomore from Washingtonville, New York. His father, Ron Sr., played basketball at CW Post back in the day. 1 out of 2 from the line.
First miss on the game for Canisius from the line.
60-56. Under 8 minutes to go.
The game has started to grind down into a half-court affair, possession by possession.
There's Jenkins, no double team. He passes out nonetheless. Atkins misses on the drive. Downey picks it up. Nice pass. Blocked away to Minto. On the board for 2.
That's the third acrobatic finish by Minto.
The freshman from Brooklyn now with 7. And the lead is back to 6.
And credit Downey with a great play. Once again, so smart, making any plays for his team. You see the defense trying to sag in, keep the ball out of Jenkins' hands inside.
McCullough for 2. His foot was on the line.
His foot on the line, but on the weak side, Atkins, not the same three-point shooting threat that Stevie Burt is. It allows that sagging defense to keep the ball out of Jenkins' hands in the post.
That was the first bucket of the night for Marvin McCullough. Jenkins overplays the pass here to steal. Instead, runs right into traffic and was right. Called for the foul.
Yeah, absolutely. Where's he go? No place to go there for Wyatt. Instead, a turnover for Canisius.
Greg Jenkins and the Iona Gales find themselves down by 4 to the Canisius Golden Griffins. Kevin Downey stepping up again. 2nd team all-conference performer. Eyes in the back of his head to Minto. Here on the MAAC Television Network. Canisius, and now it's time for tonight's game summary brought to you by Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA. And the Golden Griffins shooting extremely well here tonight.
Absolutely knocking down shots, but they're allowing Iona too many shots because of the offensive rebounding of the Gales. 22 offensive rebounds for Iona. That's been the story.
Sullivan gets the roll. He's one of 4 Iona players already in the double figures, yet they still trail by 2.
Now he has 17 points to go along with 9 rebounds. He's been all over the place. His quickness has certainly given Canisius problems.
Along with 5 assists, he is a stat sheet stuffer so far tonight. Here's Downey. He received some treatment on his elbow during that last timeout. Waxman with a rebound. Iona with a chance to retake the lead with a three. They're showing patience in their half-court set. Bruin throws it back out to McCullough. And another extra opportunity. They're not shooting the basketball very well by the Gales, but they certainly are tracking it down off the glass. Waxman into Bruin. Nice look. Atkins to the basket. With a free throw, the Gales can retake the lead. And great feed on the double team by Anthony Bruin. The presence of mind to create a little space and a terrific feed inside to find his fellow freshman on the low block. And clearly Atkins at 6'3", 190, the freshman, is more comfortable going to the basket rather than firing up from the perimeter. Yeah, a guy that gets it done, putting it on the floor, driving by people, not afraid to finish inside, but it's Bruin who made that play with a nice feed. 4 minutes ago, Canisius led by 8. Now Jeff Bruin's club has come back to take the lead, 63-62. This run with Stevie Bird, who was their leading scorer in the first half, on the bench with those 4 fouls. Funny how that stuff works out sometimes. Foster back to Ferris, but Bruin stepped in. Here comes the freshman, right to the basket. He will go to the line to shoot 2, and we just saw the look on Anthony Bruin's face saying, oh, geez, I got to go back to the line. It has not been a friendly place for Mr. Bruin or any of his teammates, but it's been the defense and quickness of Iona that's gotten them on this run. We're back to those fresh, quick legs that we saw in the first half. They had great pace to start the game, and it started with their defensive intensity. Bruin making back-to-back plays, an assist, and how about the steal out in the passing lane that time? Once again, maybe now all of a sudden he's figuring it out from the line. Well, he had missed his first 5. Young man who is from right here in Albany, went to Colony High School, played games here at the Pepsi Arena when he was high school player. Gets 1-2, falls to the rebound. It's a 2-point Iona lead, 64-62. Fight off Waxman again, who's been active inside. This 13-3 run by Iona has been keyed by their defense. Soliver and Atkins were fighting on defense, and Atkins is called for the slap. That's his first. And the 8th against Iona, so a 1-1 for Harris. You want to be aggressive out on the perimeter. Certainly that's gotten Iona some life and back into things, but you don't want to allow Canisius, who's struggling offensively, to get an easy 2 from the line. Bruin swatted it out of bounds, or so it appeared. Instead, it goes to Iona. Out of those 3 hands that went up there, I thought it was Anthony Bruin, but must have missed it from the backside here. Gales have the basketball, 64-62. They lead it. Either that or they missed it. Those officials, I'm sure, are all over everything. Canisius showing zone. Once again, trying to invite McCullough and Atkins to shoot it from the outside. Don't invite that guy, though, if you're going to play zone. Find Soliver. There is Soliver. Ferris muscles it away from Waxman. Here's where Downey's been quiet at the offensive end for a little while. He's got to get himself back into the flow offensively. He doesn't quite get the roll. Waxman with a rebound. He's tied up by Harris, and we've got a foul. That's a quick whistle on the foul right there. Harris looked like he was involved on the offensive board. So Downey a little frustrated. He hasn't been able to get shots in the flow of the offense. May have taken a tough one, deep one off the bounce, but we saw him make that exact same shot in the first half. It was up there for a little while. Harris involved with the play. Well, and second look, looks like he did get a piece of Waxman. That's his 3rd foul. Canisius over the double limit. And so Waxman will shoot 2. Kirill Waxman, a 60% foul shooter, and he is only 2 out of 5 so far here tonight. The way they're shooting the ball from the line, clearly
Iona's going to have to make sure if they're going to finish this one off and keep Canisius at bay, they've got to start making some foul shots.
Iona and Canisius, the middle of our 3 games. Marist and Siena will follow here at the Pepsi Arena in Albany.
0 for 2 again for Waxman and the Gales. And all of a sudden you start getting tight when you march to the line. Watching you and your teammates climb them off from 15 feet.
They've missed 14 out of 20 from the supposed charity strike.
And tough to win close games if you can't make foul shots.
Lost to the but the Gales were getting eaten alive on the glass. They were fortunate that the turnover didn't give the Golden Griffins one more opportunity. We have an officials timeout, 3:14 to go. In regulation, Iona clinging to a 2-point lead over Canisius here in the first round of the MAAC tournament. On the MAAC Television Network. This game is brought to you in part by Pepsi, It's the Cola. By HSBC, the world's local bank. By the New York Lottery, New York Mega Millions, dream bigger. And by FYE for your entertainment. Our Pepsi Player of the Year, Luis Flores, for the 2nd season in a row. It was just announced this afternoon here in Albany that the 6'2" senior guard for the Jaspers wins it again. 3rd in the country in points per game, and he has had a tremendous finish to the season to win our Pepsi Player of the Year award.
3rd in the country, 2nd in the MAAC in scoring because this guy's backcourt mate, Kiki Clark, led the country in scoring.
Yeah, Shane Nichols wins the Rookie of the Year, brought to you by HSBC, the world's local bank. And we will see both of those players later on this weekend. St. Peter's finishing 4th in the regular season, got a bye today into tomorrow's quarterfinal round, while Manhattan doesn't play its first game until Sunday night in the semis.
And now with Bird on the floor, you've got 2 shooters from beyond the 3-point line that you got to make sure you find out of the zone. Soliver and Bird.
Under 3 minutes to go, Iona with the ball, leading by 2. Foster knocked it away. It's coming out of bounds. And it'll be Iona basketball. Shot clock at 6. And so the Gales will have to hustle it back. McCullough, Soliver, Burke, Bruin, and Jenkins on the floor. It's Soliver. Ferris gets the rebound. Canisius down 2 with the ball.
And Ferris has been a workhorse on the boards. He's got a double-double, 13 points to go along with now 11 rebounds. Trying to extend his senior season and his career here at Canisius.
Downey had blocked, but Soliver is called for the foul. Ricky didn't like it, but wisely restrains himself with the official John Cale right there.
And Downey stuck on 16 points for a while, struggling to find shots in the offense, missed his last 3. Put the ball to the floor and get yourself to the foul line, where he's a very good foul shooter.
75% this year. And now with 17 points, no longer stuck on 16, and he's got Griff back within a point. Canisius hit its first 9 foul shots tonight, missed the next 2, and they're back on the board with that one. Yaku Moten-Sproul takes the place of John Ferris. One wide body for another. It's been Ferris who has been the big spark off the bench with 13 points. And 10 rebounds, double-double for the senior out of Liverpool.
Let's see if Moten-Sproul can give him the same type of rebounding out of this zone that Ferris has given him.
Burt. McCullough for 3. That's long. Waxman out-jumps the 2 youngsters for Canisius, and Iona has the ball back.
And that's why I don't know why you take Ferris out of the game. He's playing so well, dominating inside on the boards. He comes out. Iona gets his 2nd opportunity. Nearly a 3rd.
Burke continues to struggle. Downey got the big rebound with 1:45 to go. Whistle and a timeout. Called by the Golden Griffins.
Mike McDonald thinking the same thing. Maybe I shouldn't have taken John Ferris out. Takes the timeout to make the substitution to get Ferris back on the floor and also set things up here for this huge offensive possession.
Well, he was fortunate because the Gales got a couple of wide open looks from outside the arc, and they weren't able to cash in. There's your game reset. Both teams in good shape with the timeouts remaining.
Coming out of the timeout, Mike McDonald able to set things up with his strategy where he wants to put the basketball. Obviously, Kevin Downey's the guy who's got to get a touch to make a play, whether it's for himself or kicking out to the likes of Foster or pounding it inside to Ferris. But it's got to begin with Downey. He's got to get the ball in his hands to make a play. And Jeff Ruland wants a little more time to talk things over, so he takes a 20-second timeout.
And who's going to say no to Coach Ruland when he says, I want a timeout?
He's trying to get Tony Bruin in on a substitution. He got to the scores table late, so he takes the timeout to make sure he gets the right guys on the floor. That's a good use of the timeout.
And like we just saw in the game reset, both teams were in good shape and have timeouts to use. Coming up next, the Red Foxes of Marist against the Saints of Siena. Tip-off scheduled for about 36 minutes from now. And brought to you by JetBlue Airways. It's not the only way to fly, but it should be. Minute 39 left to go. Here's Downey.
Off that screen now, make a play.
Oh! Couldn't get that one to fall. Bruin with a rebound. Under 90 seconds to go.
That's where they wanted the basketball, though. Good execution call out of the timeout. Solid defense by the Gales.
McCullough, Jenkins, Salver, Bruin, and Burke. Starting five on the floor for Iona.
And Canisius now goes straight man.
Burke backs it out. Quick pass to Salver on the baseline.
Good ball movement.
Shot clock becomes a factor. Down to 6. Salver drops it off. Jenkins.
Bruin takes. Bruin gets it back, and they'll go to the line for 2. Once again, we've seen the 2 huge stats coming up on this same possession. The offensive rebounding for Iona has been spectacular. 24 offensive boards for Jeff Ruland's team. Problem is they've not been able to convert from the foul line. Just 6 of 20 from 15 feet away. Jenkins tried to catch and gather and shoot all in one motion, but there's the quick jumping ability of Bruin to get after it on the offensive glass.
And now, only 1 for 7 tonight from the line is Anthony Bruin.
You see the hitch in his shot right there, but it doesn't matter. Usually like to see the nice smooth stroke instead clutches as he goes.
There you see, he had 3 field goals in the first half and now 2 free throws in the second half, but he could have had many, many more.
Jeff Ruland with a different reaction after that one went in. Some frustration on him with a couple misses from the line, but Bruin gets both key foul shots to fall.
And he gives Iona the lead goal, 66-64, under a minute to go.
Once again, here's where Downey has to have the ball in his hands to make plays.
Missed it. Jenkins with a rebound.
On contact, no call. Good clearing of the defensive boards by Jenkins.
And so now Iona gets the ball back with 41 and 9/10 seconds on the clock.
And here's where Canisius has to pick up in the full court pressure. The 6-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Actually 8 seconds, as there's 33 seconds on the shot clock. Let's see if they give up the foul the way Iona's been shooting the ball from the foul line. You would figure that they will give up the foul.
The foul goes against Darnell Wilson.
I'm not so sure about that one. Looked like they had a pretty good trap situation going on as Mike McDonald's team getting it done with the full court pressure. This may have been a bailout. Ricky Salver trying to step through the trap. He looked like the guy to initiate that contact. Tough break for the Golden Griffin.
Instead of a turnover and an easy layup for Richard Jones that would have tied it, instead back at the other end for Ricky Salver, a 71% foul shooter.
First trip to the line for Salver.
This copyrighted telecast of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the MAAC and MAAC Properties, a division of Host Communications.
Salver with the 2-shot bonus. A lot easier to walk to the line knowing that you've got a second one behind it. Knocks down the first. This to make it a 2-possession game.
He does it. Shot clock is off, and now the Golden Griffins have to work the ball up quickly. And they certainly left time. You don't have to worry about three if you get a good look from 3-5. It's not good to go. After Harris did, Bruin came over to make a miss, but Jones with the active putback. It's back to a 2-point game. Now, good use of the time right there. Attack the rim. Jones active on the offensive glass as once again Bruin came over to challenge the shot, but by doing so, nobody was there to put a body on Jones.
Yep, so even though the initial shot was missed, credit the penetration here by Harris to force Bruin to come over and leave Jones by himself.
And when guys get into the lane, it puts pressure on everybody, especially from the weak side. Bruin comes over, does his job by challenging. He needs guys to recover and retreat back to the basketball. Instead, too many white jerseys standing out at the three-point line looking for the outlet pass. You got to rebound it before you can get it back.
So now if you're Canisius, you take a look over and see who comes onto the floor for Iona looking for the right person to foul. Anthony Bruin would be that person at this point.
And certainly you want to try to funnel the basketball where you can. Remember, they got a good trap situation out of the full court pressure. Last possession, they just bailed out with a late foul.
Atkins also only a 55% shooter, and that's him with it. They don't foul him. Instead, it gets to Soliver with 20 seconds to go.
But there's the turnover. Exactly. Sometimes you don't have to bail out for the foul right away. We're talking about the fact that they nearly forced the turnover last possession with the full court press. This time they make good, and now they'll take the full time out to set things up. Right here, they've got Atkins there. Good solid trap by Jones there on the reach around. Almost gave it away. And Soliver with the cross-court pass. Burt was heading up the floor. Instead, the ball heads right to Mike McDonald's bench.
Yeah, did you think Jones was trying to give that foul on the reach around?
On the reach around, absolutely.
So it worked out in their favor that they didn't commit that foul and didn't get that call because they get the turnover. The first Iona turnover in 9 minutes. Now Ricky Soliver, a sophomore from All Hallows High School in New York, has had a tremendous second half. Working inside, working outside. The crafty left-hander for the Gales is also our Pepsi player of the game.
Well, his quick hands get everything going, and his quick feet to match it up. His three-point shooting, he's really stepped it up here. Career high 9 rebounds so far this afternoon, or now into the evening. As you said, stuff in the stat sheet. A little bit of everything.
19 points. Pepsi, it's the cola. Now more than that, Soliver would like to add to his Pepsi player of the game honor and pick up a victory in a spot against Niagara in tomorrow's quarterfinal.
Yeah, he wants to make sure that he doesn't win that award on the losing team. You know, he's going to make that decision with 18.8 seconds left. A lot of time. Obviously look for, once again, the basketball to get into Kevin Downey's hands. Remember, Ferris has been playing well, and also Toby Foster can shoot it from deep.
Downey was screaming for the ball in the post. He had McCullough on him. Instead, they go in a different direction, and the Griffs are unable to convert. 6 seconds to go. Downey with 5 seconds. Drop it off for the time. Now the time expires. The Golden Griffins had a golden opportunity twice to force overtime and couldn't do it.
And once again, their Achilles heel all season long. The inconsistent scoring inside once again came back to haunt them. A wide open, easy layup inside as Downey had the presence of mind not to rush things. Instead, Mike McDonald's team with 2 easy looks inside, but they can't get the post score. It's been the same story all season long for Canisius. Here's this wild sequence. Not the guy you want taking the first shot, but credit the Griffins for hanging in there, staying with it. Basketball comes out to Foster. Downey looks up, sees that there's enough time, draws the defense. You've got to go strong to the basket and put it on the glass. Instead, another missed opportunity inside.
And there you see the reaction of the Gales, and as soon as the horn sounded, we saw the reaction of Toby Foster, a senior for Canisius, and John Ferris, another senior. Their careers come to an end. They both fall in agony on the floor while the Gales celebrate their escape here tonight.
Hey, tournament time's all about survive and advance. We've had 2 survivals here in our first 2 games.
Well, we took a break after game number 1. We're going to have an opportunity to take a break here again between games number 2 and 3. The stands are filling up here, and folks are getting ready for game 3 of our triple header between Siena and Marist. But how about Iona here just surviving?
Absolutely surviving, making a couple foul shots at key times coming down the stretch and surviving the late turnover. Canisius had that golden opportunity. Jones just came up a little short on the layup inside.
Our Pepsi player of the game, Ricky Soliver, 19 points in the victory as we take another look at the golden opportunities. Ferris missed that final tip, and the Griffs season comes to an end. We're going to step away. We'll be back at 9:30 with the Siena Marist game. Thank